You saw the idea of the press conference. Maybe many people have left already, but we are keen also to speak to those who are available in the press corps, those who are committed and working hard. And we thank you very much for staying behind. Now we can take a few questions.
Sure, if you don't mind. Thanks a lot for doing this. I appreciate it. There was a lot of interest in it. In covering the Security Council, obviously we hear one side of the African story about the countries that are on the agenda of the Council that have problems. And what I'm wondering is, and I tried to watch as much of the session as I could, what the RECs can do to try to resolve the underlying problems. So that I'm thinking of South Sudan and what IGAD is doing. Thinking of what what's the relation between the agendas of the RECs and the some of the underlying roots of the conflicts. That the Security Council just sees the tip of it. When fighting breaks out, then the Council is there to impose sanctions. But what's the plan to sort of to get at both development issues in these countries and distribution of resources? What's the connection between these two? What would you say is the connection between this work and the side of it that we see at the Security Council? Maybe Tete Antonio, since you're always in the Council, hearing these same speeches that I try to stay awake through.
No, I would have loved to give the opportunity to the RECs to respond, since they are on the ground and they are the ones who implement, and I would like to hear them. But let's just say that the RECs are a part of us. As we are talking about the peace and security issues. Although we would like also to speak a little bit more and more about the economic development, but certainly our situation currently imposes itself on issues of peace and security, as we are underlining. We have a memorandum of understanding with the RECs. Means we have defined frameworks for cooperation between the AU and the RECs in questions of peace and security. And as you know, as I was saying, the RECs, if you go to the history even of the ECA itself at the time, with the monopoles in different regions, which played a lot of a great role for the creation, helping also to create many of the RECs. The economic integration was at the top of the agenda of the RECs. But certainly the questions of peace took a kind of burden due to the situation which imposed itself. So you are feeling the situation about being trying to integrate economically. You cannot integrate economically if you don't solve the peace and security problems. So this is how the situation evolved. Now, certainly, the advantage we have had is having the RECs and the AU itself on the ground. Is we are faster to deploy, for example, faster to deploy. But there can be a kind of division of labor among our institutions. First, the main issue of the deployment of many of our troops on the ground has been the financing of them. And you know our fight, we have been the Security Council, how we have been trying to convince the Security Council to have how do you call it, the finance, not the capacity, to have contributions, how do you call it?
Assessed contributions.
Assessed contributions, yes. Assess the contributions to make sure that the AU or the RECs, while deploying on behalf of the international community, is very successful. You know the history of even remember when Africa was moving into the creation of its capacity. Salim at the time said that this shouldn't be the meaning of the international community abandoning its responsibility towards Africa. So it is a reinforcing process, a cooperation between RECs and the AU as well as the United Nations.
There are many new initiatives in the Agenda 2063 that would require, as was mentioned by Egypt and the Timor-Leste and I think Cape Verde or some ambassador of Cape Verde. The issues of strategy and issues of distribution. For instance, there are some silencing the gun. It's a very bold initiative that is included in 2063, and silencing the gun is included not only as dealing with the peace and security, but also dealing with the economic and the governance components that contribute to the deterioration of situation in peace and security. And we understand and we know and we participated in many retreats that have happened in this regard, and we're supportive to the African Union on that, and we would like to have this implemented. But the problem, as mentioned by Ambassador Tete, is the problem of means. There have been a decision on the establishment of an African standby force, but the establishment of African standby force have stumbled because of lack of means and lack of necessary components for training and for logistics and for others, and that is why there is also another proposal in the Agenda 2063 of establishment of an African armed forces. It's not that the African Union is going to invade anybody, but it is for the African Union to be the first to interfere and to be the first solving African problems by Africans. And that is something that the United Nations encouraged within the Chapter 8 that was referred to by the Deputy Secretary General today. It is encouraging to see that regional organizations are willing to take the responsibility of settling their regional problems before it escalates into the international arena and it becomes a problem of the international community. But that is where we have to hear how can we support.
Je voulais ajouter sur ce qu'il dit. L'agenda 2063 traite des questions de paix et de sécurité. Mais en fait, le problème en Afrique, c'est pas...
non, c'est OK.
Le problème, les diagnostics ont été faits. Et je voulais rappeler qu'en août, le 31 août 2009, la conférence de l'Union africaine s'est réunie à Tripoli à l'occasion d'une session spéciale consacrée à la paix et à la sécurité en Afrique. Et au terme de cette session, les chefs d'État ont adopté la déclaration de Tripoli et ont décidé de considérer l'année 2010 comme année de la paix en Afrique. Toujours au cours de cette conférence, ils ont identifié 14 crises et conflits en cours en Afrique. Sur les 14, 12 se manifestent dans l'espace sahélo-saharien. Et les chefs d'État se sont entendus, ont convenu de travailler à la résolution de ces crises et de ces conflits. L'année suivante, 2011, le printemps arabe, l'aggravation de la situation en Somalie, la Centrafrique, etc.
Tripoli.
Et j'ai dit le printemps arabe, donc l'Égypte, la Tunisie, etc. C'est pour dire que l'Union africaine, mais les Nations Unies également étaient partie prenante à cette déclaration de Tripoli. Et il s'est passé quoi? Il s'est passé que nous sommes en 2014, on découvre qu'on n'est plus à 14 conflits, mais à un peu plus. Et c'est des crises qui deviennent très complexes, très difficiles, et face auxquelles on a l'impression que l'Union africaine, les communautés économiques régionales et les Nations Unies, y compris le Conseil de sécurité, semblent désarmés. Je pense qu'il faut qu'on y réfléchisse aussi sur, je dirais, l'implantation, comme on dit, la mise en œuvre des conventions et des déclarations que nous adoptons dans les cadres multilatéraux.
I'll say something as an African, not as an USG for a special advisor, is the reform of the Security Council. It's giving African countries the 2 seats that they have been asking for in the Zulwini consensus since 1994 with the veto. That will make the voice of Africa heard. But these remarks are made on a personal Egyptian capacity, not as an Under-Secretary General Special Advisor on Africa.